Hello, friends that live within the internet. My name is John, and in this video, I will be talking about a very important topic for anyone who works as a professional software engineer, and that is money. Yes, I like to code and I do it for free. However, when you pick software engineering as a career, it is super important that you learn how to maximize your career earning potential. Now, people don't really talk about this in university, or you can't really read it in books. I've learned a lot of this stuff through the hard way. Now, my career, I used to be a contractor. So over 20 years, I've had to do a lot of negotiations, and some of the tips that I'm going to share in this video, they're probably not very conventional or really talked about a lot. So what I'm going to do is in about 10 minutes, give you some tips which could help you make many thousands of pounds over your career. So it's well worth an investment of 10 minutes. Now, if you haven't come across one of my videos before, my name is John and I do weekly YouTube videos on stuff like web development and productivity. If you haven't already and you're a numbnuts, hit that subscribe button because losing content on YouTube is really simple, and I'd really appreciate if you follow me. Amazing. Otherwise, assuming you've hit subscribe, let's go on and talk about how you can maximize your career earnings. In strategy 1, what you want to do is get as many job offers as possible whenever you're applying for a role. Now, it doesn't really make a difference if you want to do all of those jobs. The important thing is that you actually have a number of offers, and this is key. Now, if you read any book about negotiations, what you'll generally find is that the person who cares the least will usually get the best deal out of a negotiation. So if you have 4 or 5 job offers, what tends to happen is you can play other companies off against each other. So I used to do this as a contractor all the time. Say I'd have 4 offers, 5 offers. I wouldn't have to lie. I wouldn't need to try, play companies off really. All I would say is, look, you've offered me, say, £100 a day. This company is going to offer me £125 a day. What generally is your best deal? I kind of think it's interesting working here. However, money is money at the end of the day, and I'll probably have to take this other offer. Now, if you just go around and, loop around and say this to all the same clients, some people might say, oh, this is your maximum. Others will be like, oh no, we really need you, so we'll offer you an extra £50 a day. Now, me personally doing this, I've actually managed to get my day rate up to £100 extra per day. Now, if you think about it this way, in a working year, you've probably got about 250, 260 days. So getting an extra £100 a day basically meant that through negotiations, I made an extra £25,000 per year. And this is why you want to get multiple offers. Now, the secret when you want to get multiple offers is to apply to as many places as possible. And this is definitely a grind. It's not really a simple thing. You have to just go through the job adverts every single day, go through all the job boards, apply to 5 or 10 different positions. Even if you don't think they're the most exciting roles in the world, go out, send your CV out, interview with them, see what they say. Now, personally, I know I've applied for jobs that, from their spec, they haven't looked great, and in the end I've actually ended up working there and they've been great jobs. So just because you're looking and you're job hunting, just because their spec doesn't sound as good as it might be, my advice is just to apply and apply, and if you end up getting that job, and then that helps you get an extra £25, £100 a day for the dream job that you're really interested in, then it's a win-win. Now, another way of maximizing your offers is having some good contacts and through networking. So if you know loads of people and they think you're alright and they can vouch for you, this is also going to help you maximize the amount of job offers you get a single time. So again, this all sort of boils back to value. That, if you have a good network, or if you've got a good reputation, or the company is, they know that you can add some value for them, then you're going to get more job offers. So this all goes back to this underlining. If you can increase value, then you can get multiple job offers. And then when you're looking for work, if you can play those companies off against each other, you're going to maximize your earnings. And this is one of the best ways of maximizing your earnings. Now, there's a study, which I read many years ago, which basically says that the people who swap jobs every 2 or 3 years are pretty much going to make 20 or 30% more over the entirety of their career. And this is one of the reasons. So as a contractor, I used to swap jobs, say, every 6 months to 12 months. So being able to maximize this job opportunities by leveraging these multiple offers has actually made me thousands and thousands of pounds over my career. And I can't stress enough how important this is. Strategy number 2 is all about you. And this is where you come in and creating a brand and being able to stand out from everyone else. So the only way that you're going to be able to stand out from everyone else is creating a reputation or a brand. We all know, rep counts for everything. And this is what happened in my career. So the first 5 years of my career, I was a pretty crappy software developer on a very average income. Now what happened is when I started focusing on a brand and creating some value, I actually doubled my earnings within about 6 months. And basically what I went was from permanent to contracting. However, the reason why I got the contracting job is because people had seen some of the tutorials I was writing about. So it was like this positive feedback loop. I created some tutorials for free. People saw those tutorials and then they wanted to offer me more money. And this is the importance of why you need to create a brand. Because as I was saying in strategy 1, to get as many offers as possible, you're not just going to get that being, Joe average. What you need to do is stand out. So the way to stand out is by creating a brand. So nowadays there are loads and loads and loads of ways of creating your brand. You might want to start writing blogs like I did. However, be warned, it took me 5 years before anyone really started looking at my website. So there's a lot of slog in there. It doesn't really, it's not for everyone. You can create obviously YouTube videos. You're watching me on YouTube. Again, I've been doing this for about 2 years. I've got about 700 subscribers. Some people might get quicker, some people might take longer. However, doing videos is something I enjoy. I like teaching people, so I carry on slogging these out, not really for money, because I enjoy doing it. Now, there's other ways. You might want to create an open source project, or you might create some SaaS product and you become really famous, and then you can help and charge people services for implementing your product. You could become, like John Skeet and become the world's best Stack Overflow guy. And because you're so famous from Stack Overflow, you can then write books and do conference talks. You could even just, as I was saying, conference talks, that's the thing. You can go out, talk at meetups, talk at any conference. Getting that reputation is really important. You can also write your book. So you could go out writing a book. There's so many different ways that you can become a brand expert. It's just, none of them are easy. You have to put in a lot of time and effort. Now, if you're going to sign up to this idea that you want to create a brand, the important thing to do is be quite specific on what you focus on. And this is where you need to think about niche. Now, if I was going to try and become an expert, say, in everything C# or Microsoft, I'm going to be on an uphill climb. Tell you why, because Microsoft writes loads of content. There's loads of agencies out there who's writing content. C#'s been around for 20 odd years, 25 years. There's loads and loads of tutorials. What you want to do is, when you're writing your blog content, for example, if you want to get ranked at #1 in Google, you're going to have a really, really tough time of it. So what you want to do, and this was what worked for me, is you need to focus. So for me, when I started writing, I was writing tutorials about stuff like design patterns or, my thinkings, and no one cared. No one gave a shit about that. Why would they? However, when I started focusing and writing about Episerver CMS that I was using at the time, I saw this massive flux in traffic. And this is because at the time, no one was really writing anything about Episerver. It was quite niche. I wasn't going to get millions. I wasn't going to become the world's most famous programmer by writing about Episerver. However, in that little niche, in that little square, I became well known. And because of that, I was able to get different job offers and multiple offers. So by focusing on that one niche, writing some content, generating some value for people, that is how I've managed to maximize whatever I was getting. And this is why that when I was going for job interviews, I then started to get, offers which were above what they wanted to pay, because they're like, oh, you're that Episerver guy. You're going to know everything. We know that if we put my money in you, you're going to be a safe bet. You're going to design something for us, which is going to be really nice. And that is how you maximize your income. So by creating a brand, and it doesn't make a difference what it is. You might be the Axios guy, or you might be the async guy, or you might be some sort of weird cookie-based guy, or, the TLS Cloudflare guy. It doesn't make a difference what it is. However, as long as you're that guy, then you're going to be able to maximize your career, assuming that there's some good jobs available in that market. Strategy number 3 is all about giving ourselves that extra little bit of confidence. So there's a thing which is hardwired into pretty much everyone's brains, and it's called imposter syndrome. And basically we always compare ourselves with something else in our mind, and the thing that we're comparing against always makes us feel like we're not as good as some ideal person. And because of this, it really hampers our negotiating tactics, because we're always going to negotiate like smaller because we don't think we have the value. So this is where the importance of knowing the market rate comes into play. So I've talked about IT Jobs Watch before. If you live in the UK, it is a great tool. You simply go to their website, type in say C# or React, Episerver, Umbraco, whatever it is your niche is, and it's going to tell you what the average is for a contractor and a permanent. And what's best, it will also tell you what the maximum quartile is. So it'll tell you, you know, what the people in the top 90% are getting paid. So what I used to do is I'd go to IT Job Watch, I'd look at say this figure, and then this would be the figure that I'd ask clients for. And then when people go to me, you know, why are you asking for this amount of money? Why are you? You're crazy. I could point them to a website and go, look, this is the actual, you know, this is a credible number. Here's my website. This is my brand. This is the reason why I think I'm worth this value, because you can go here, you can see that I've written all about this. I've written a book about it. I've got YouTube videos about it. And then, you know, I've got all these recommendations. And then officially I've got 3 or 4 different job offers. And then because of that, people start negotiating, and that's how you can maximize what you get paid. Now there's also another website called glassdoor.com. You can go in there and they'll also tell you your average. However, you can start to see this process of by figuring on value and focusing on value first and creating content or creating a reputation, creating a network. Because of that, you're then going to start getting multiple job offers, knowing actually how much you get paid. Don't listen to a recruiter, don't listen to what a company says. Actually go to a website for your country and figure out what the average job wage is based on data. And then when you're going for your negotiation tactics, you then have the data, you have the brand, so then you should be getting paid the cash money. Those 3 steps outline the process that I followed throughout my career to maximize my income, and I generally think I've made thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of pounds by following that system. So let's quickly recap where we are so we're all on the same page. So obviously when you're looking for a new job or a new client, what you want to do is grind. You want to apply for every single advert that you see. You want to talk to every single recruiter. You want to sign up to every single job site. Now this is a grind, and this is the reason why I'm calling it a grind. There's no easy steps. You want to get as many opportunities. You want to land in as many people's inboxes. You want to talk and you want to be in as many people's minds as possible. Simply doing this means that you're going to maximize the amount of job interviews that you're going to go for and the offers. And remember, if you can get 4 or 5 job offers at the same time, you're going to maximize your take-home pay. Now obviously when you're going through your interviews, you're not just going to magically get a job interview out of nowhere. You're going to have to add value. You're going to have to show to people that you're worth employing, and this is where creating that brand is super important. So you want to go out, create a blog, create a vlog, write on Stack Overflow, become the world's best clown. It doesn't make a difference what you want to do. As long as you can stand out in an interview from everyone else, you're going to get lots and lots of offers. Now obviously always be aware that at some point in your career you're going to come into imposter syndrome even. And it doesn't make a difference if you're going from 30 to 60k, maybe you're going from 50 to 100k, 100 to 200k. There'll be a point where a voice in your head goes, oh, I'm not sure you're worth that. And this is where you need to know what the actual data is. You want to go there and then have a look at, you know, what the average is, what the maximums are. And then when you're in the maximum range, if you want to get to the 90% quartile, you need to make sure that you're adding all that value, you're having that strong brand so that you can say to people, you can pitch and you can credibly say you're worth being in the top 90%. So you can't just get in the 90% with no effort. You have to work, put all that grind in, but doing that, you will maximize it. And as I said, I reckon I've made hundreds of thousands of extra pounds in my career simply by following this process. It's not easy. There's probably other systems out there. This isn't a get rich scheme. This is a practical guide that I've personally used. Now, obviously there's things, you know, like creating your own SaaS products, selling things to other people where you could become, you know, millionaires like Mark Zuckerberg, or, you know, you can create the next Google. All that sort of stuff is possible. If you're living in the south of England or, you know, London, that's probably not as likely because you're not in America or near Silicon Valley. However, for a normal average person who's a software developer who wants to maximize their career, all the steps that I've been talking about are applicable for every single programming language, no matter where you are in the world. These steps will make you maximize the amount you can get paid. So I highly recommend you do it because you can go on parties, you can go on holidays, you can, you know, live it up and live the good life. So I'm hoping that you found some massive value. That is the point of these videos. If you haven't already, because you're a silly Billy, hit that subscribe button because I'd very much appreciate it. Do all the other cool YouTubey things like blah blah blah. I also do a weekly newsletter. I always keep forgetting to mention that. If you go to my website, johndjones.com, you can find the newsletter link there, or simply just scroll down on here. You can see the newsletter. What you do is get a weekly email filled with interesting links just on web development and improving your productivity and programming skills. It's free. There's no spam. There's no ads in it. Very simple. Otherwise, I'm leaving it there for today. Hope you found value in this. Happy coding, people.